Antonio, Texas. Raul Martinez, Ilido Julio in our first bout. 10 rounds, bantamweights. Bob Papa, Wally Matthews ringside at the Municipal Auditorium. So glad you can join us for live boxing action. Carlos Hernandez and Kevin Kelly in the main event. For the introductions, here's our ring announcer, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to historic Municipal Auditorium right here in San Antonio, Texas, where tonight Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present an evening of world-class professional boxing. It's Versus Fight Night. All bouts sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. At ringside for this first bout, the 3 judges scoring will be Rick Crocker, Terry Hillen, and Roy Oveye. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Ruben Carrion. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing. This is in the bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue with yellow and red. Official weight, 118 pounds. Professional record, 35 victories, including 31 knockouts, 8 defeats with 1 bout even. From Antioquia, Colombia, here is Ilido Julio. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing dark blue, official weight 116 pounds. A perfect professional record consisting of 15 bouts, 15 victories, including 11 knockouts. From San Antonio, Texas, the undefeated Raul La Cobrita Martinez.
All right, we're with the pre-fight instruction in the dressing room. Any questions? I'm going to caution you again. Obey my commands at all times. Most important of all, protect yourselves at all times, especially on the breaks and at the bell. Touch gloves, return to your corner. All right, let's go.
Wally, let's take a look at the tail of the tape, head-to-head for Martinez and Julio.
All right, if you notice, slight height advantage for Martinez. The weight, 2 pounds heavier for Julio. The reach, just a ½ inch. The big statistic right there, Bob, 35 years old, Ilido Julio, 24 years old, Raul Martinez.
Rules as governed by the state of Texas. No 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Only the referee can stop it, cannot be saved with the bell in any round. And we are set for the start of our first bout of the evening, Martinez and Julio. Martinez in the blue, Julio in the blue with yellow and red piping.
Martinez in the white shoes. I mean, they did us no favors with the trunks here tonight, but Ilido Julio in the red shoes and Raul Martinez in the white, when you can see the feet.
If there is an accidental clash of heads, they'll go to the scorecards after the 4th round.
And that could actually come into play here because, as we mentioned earlier, Raul Martinez, a history of cutting even in his brief professional career. He showed us a little roadmap of the scars today, a couple over the right eye, 1 over the left eye. So keep your eyes on that.
Back in June, he scored a first-round knockout of Alejandro Becerra. Suffered a cut right eye in that fight. In his April win against Adalberto Davila, round 4, cut left eye. In his January win in Illinois against Andres Ledesma, knocked Ledesma down twice in round 3. Martinez was cut in the right eye in round 6. The fight was almost stopped by referee Tim Adams.
Right, that's the one where he said to the referee, just give me 1 more round. He went out there and he got the job done.
Last year, he got tested a little bit. He went against Miguel Martinez, former NABF Flyweight and Super Flyweight champion, well past his prime, 34 years of age, but a good learning experience for the young fighter, and he scored a first-round stopper. You know, as I was on the flight to San Antonio, down with a body shot
into the body.
Goes Julio. Julio was down twice in his last fight against Jose Lopez in Puerto Rico back in April.
And he's smiling, says he wasn't hurt. He was hit pretty hard there. He may have just been knocked off his feet. We'll take a look on the replay if he was off balance.
Julio's been down. Oh, down goes Martinez from the left hand.
we got a little fight going here.
6, 7, 8.
So each man has tasted the canvas.
That's the best way to come back from a knockdown I think I've ever seen. You know, it's funny because when Julio got up, Martinez was emboldened. If you notice, he suddenly became very aggressive, ran into a shot and went down. You notice not quite as aggressive now. That'll happen.
Good left hook to the body by Martinez. Stiff jab from Martinez. Coming to the end of round number 1. A round that featured both boxers hitting the canvas.
Very interesting round, a very, very interesting round, especially for the youngster, Raul Martinez.
I'm good. ¿Estás bien? Pero estabas mal parado, ¿no, güey? ¿Cómo chingas? No, me pegó.
Well, Wally, the first man down in round 1 was Ilido Julio.
Right, and kind of a strange knockdown. We'll take a look at it in a moment, but it was from a right to the body. Seemed almost as if he was knocked over more by the force of the blow than actually hurt. Let's take a look at it here, and you'll see Martinez dips to his right. A right hand actually hit him on, see, he was off balance. It actually hit him on the crook of the elbow. So not a damaging knockdown at all. Comes right back, and we'll see what he did to Raul Martinez after he got up.
Let's take a look at Martinez going down moments later.
This is right after he got up. And it's just a short jab on the chin, and I'll tell you what, if you want to compare knockdowns, I think I like Julio's better.
Without the benefit of replay.
Right.
How'd you score?
Thank God for that. You know what? I gave it to Julio 9-8. I subtracted a point from each of them for the knockdowns, and then subtracted a point from the man I thought lost the round. Does that make any sense?
It does. I made it 10-9 for Martinez.
Do you have your whiteout pen?
I have it even.
Just in case.
I thought Martinez landed the more telling blows overall in the round, although the knockdown scored by Julio was better than Martinez's.
But you know what? I think I like your scorecard better, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to stick with what I said here.
Please do.
All right.
The point I was going to make before the knockdown started flying, as I was flying to San Antonio on the flight from Newark, seated near outstanding point guard for the San Antonio Spurs, Tony Parker. And as I was doing a little studying on Martinez, a little background information, you know what his nickname is other than La Cobita? His nickname with his buddies? Muggsy.
No kidding.
Loved playing basketball as a kid, and they nicknamed him Muggsy after Muggsy Bogues.
How do you like that?
Just wanted to keep the point guard.
He's actually taller than Muggsy Bogues. I have one question to ask you, and that is, was Tony Parker with the lovely Mrs. Tony Parker, who's actually not his wife, Eva Longoria?
No.
Oh, well. You know what? Ilido Julio is bringing a little bit more than I think Raul Martinez expected right now.
You know, Martinez told us, I like to counterpunch, but usually after my opponent tastes my power, I have to go get them. He expected Julio to probably be there to counterpunch.
I think that was a reasonable expectation, that Julio would be a come-forward kind of fighter, but Martinez actually gave us a clue how to make his life difficult. That is, do not leave. Force him to leave, because he does not like to do that.
And Martinez told us his best punch is the left hook.
Well, you know what? He's done a great job with it to the body so far.
And there he comes back with it.
There was that digging left hook to the body again from Martinez, but Julio hanging tough in here. Strong guy.
Julio suffered 3 knockout losses, including in his last fight.
A couple of those right hands from Julio landed around the hip of Martinez.
Good double left there from Martinez.
And one thing Julio told us today is that he would switch up from southpaw to right hand.
Final seconds of the second. You're watching Fight Night.
Hey.
Round number 3 scheduled for 10, bantamweight division. Raul Martinez of San Antonio in the sparkly blue trunks. Ilido Julio in the blue trunks with red shoes. Both men got knocked down in round 1. Julio went down first, then Martinez followed thereafter.
Just a wild guess, Bob. I think Julio has worn those trunks before.
Think?
I think.
Martinez pretty effective with his jab in round number 2. He's 15 of 33. That's almost 50%.
Really, the story of the fight has really been body punches. I mean, some terrific left hooks to the body from Raul Martinez. Julio likes to come back with his right to the body, although he has been starting it a little bit too far away and leaving himself vulnerable. A good sharp right hand counter there by Martinez. And Bob, now the speed of Martinez is really starting to make a difference. It's starting to land a lot more clean punches on Julio.
Good straight right hand, left hand from Martinez.
And he's found that he can score pretty well with a right lead. He goes right, left, and he's having a lot more success than he was earlier in the fight.
And Julio was reaching. He got lucky there. He didn't get tagged. Right hand right to the forehead. Be interesting at the end of the round if you get a look at the numbers, but I would think that Martinez's connect percentage has gone up rapidly here in this round.
Definitely. This round is all Martinez, and I'll tell you why. I said earlier that Julio told us he likes to switch from right hand to southpaw. This might be a good time, and he just did.
Thank you, Wally.
Thank you, Ilido. Thank you for listening. Now let's see if it helps. Not yet.
Yes, Julio, why he moved to Miami last October, he said, you don't make any money fighting in Colombia. More money to be made here in the States. Works out of the Teo Cruz boxing gym in Miami.
I'll tell you what, he's hanging tough under a lot of punishment. This has been a very, very one-sided round for Martinez so far.
Excellent third round for Raul Martinez of San Antonio, Texas on Fight Night. Round number 4 underway in the scheduled 10-rounder, bantamweights. Raul Martinez and Ilido Julio. Both men went down in round 1.
That was a rocky start, I thought, for Martinez in the first round. I mean, he came on pretty strong after the knockdown. He had knocked down Julio with a right to the body, came on pretty strong, ran right into a short jab and went down. Kind of threw him off his game for a while, but I felt like by last round, Bob, he started to get rolling again. Pretty much dominated round number 3.
You know, I was wondering about the numbers from the last round. They actually threw the same amount of punches. But Martinez landed 30 of his 48 power shots, which is a very good percentage. And about 40% of his jabs, as you get a look at the numbers from that round.
Plus, you know what? He just landed so many more clean punches that you just couldn't miss. That even though they may have thrown the same number of punches, it just seemed as if Martinez was the busier guy. He certainly was the more effective guy. You know what? Keep your eye on the right corner of Raul Martinez's eye, his right eye. Looks like it's starting to redden a little bit. This is going to be a problem for him throughout his career, and it's a shame. I mean, one thing about boxers, you don't see them overcome a cut problem as they get older.
become really defensive. Like we saw Arturo Gatti, who used to just be a bloody mess, who sort of managed it a little bit.
Yeah, but it's always a difficult thing to have to deal with.
Sure.
I'll tell you one thing about Julio. He is strong and he keeps coming. This is a good match for a young fighter like Martinez because this is a guy that's going to test him. It's going to test his resolve. The longer this fight goes, you know, it's going to be more and more difficult for him to do what he wants in there. A couple of pretty good jabs there, right jabs, because Julio is now fighting southpaw again.
Martinez stepped in with a right hand. End of the fourth, scheduled for 10. Julio off balance a little bit. Let's check the eye of Martinez. Got the outstanding cutman Joe Shisa working on those eyes.
It's actually nothing for him to do yet. It's just a little swollen, I think. And you put an inswell on it.
Well, maintenance never hurt.
A preventive medicine.
You know, San Antonio is a tremendous boxing town.
It really is. There's been a lot of real good fighters coming out of here.
And one guy, Martinez hopes to kind of, it's been a little slow lately, like to pick up the vacuum. There's a guy, Wally, that you and I have known from the beginning of his career, Jesse James Leha.
He goes back to our childhood.
Former champ. And he would appreciate Martinez working the body against Julio.
Absolutely. The body shop is open for business. We'll take a look at some of the body work here from Raul Martinez. Good right hand there. He's done most of his work with his left hook to the body, but I tell you what, the lost art of body punching, alive and well here in the ring.
We'll keep our eye on the eyes of Martinez. Cuts have been a problem in his young career.
Wow, and you could see that coming because Martinez just kind of measuring his man with his left hand, and then boom, right hand right behind it.
Seems like Martinez has gotten into a rhythm here.
Yeah, the one thing we're going to have to watch, though, as the fight goes on, he has landed a lot of clean shots here. You have to wonder if a young fighter will start to question his own punching power, although now it appears that Julio might be a little wobbly.
Yeah, in Martinez's young career, which did not begin professionally until May of 2004, 10 of his 11 knockouts have come within the first 3 rounds.
And when you hit a guy as often, as cleanly as Martinez is hitting Julio now, you got to start wondering what is holding this guy up, or is it me?
Especially knowing that the guy was knocked out in his last fight.
Now, so much about boxing is self-belief. You know, fighters have to continue to believe in themselves even when things aren't going quite the way they want. Now, Martinez obviously is winning this fight, but you know he's got to be wondering why his punches aren't having quite as much of an effect.
Maybe he's trying too hard for the knockout, too, in his hometown, trying to be impressive on TV.
Well, if we could tell him that he's being impressive, he is, I think.
So he missed with all of that. You see on his right pant leg, Tot. He and his wife, Martha, just celebrated the birth of their 2-month-old daughter, Tatiana Isabella. So Raul, a proud new dad.
Is there any other kind?
Proud? Julio a little low to the body. I think Martinez does not want to be here while knowing that he's susceptible to cuts.
Well, you know what? This is certainly not the fight to get into because right now Julio is just bullying in. You know, you got to watch the heads in there. He's got the fight well under control, but that's always kind of the X factor that he's got to worry about. And there you go.
There it is.
Look at
There's
that.
the cut.
Way up in the hairline, a strange place to get cut.
Well, it's not the worst spot.
No.
Now, remember, accidental foul. Now that we're through 4 rounds, they would go to the scorecards. Fight night, Martinez and Julio. And we'll check with Ruben Carrion just to make sure that it was a clash of heads.
You make a good point, Bob. It's not in a dangerous spot. The blood does not run into his eyes from that area. I've never seen a fight stop.
We hear accidental headbutt.
So they would go to the scorecards, but I've never seen a fight stopped by a cut in the hairline.
Let's take a look at the accidental clash of heads, and we believe it was accidental.
Yeah, it's a stylistic thing. You can see, actually, if anything, the action was initiated by Martinez coming forward. So clearly it's an accidental butt. Another bad break. And as I said from the beginning of the telecast, this is going to be a problem. And it's really a shame that a young fighter with only in his 16th pro fight is having a problem with
Tira
cuts.
3 golpes, tira 3 golpes y métele uppercut. De rectos abajo, tira el jab, y levántate con derecha, tira derecha. Levántate con gancho, bien hecho.
Accidental. Accidental.
So an accidental
No dejes
headbutt.
que se crezca. No lo dejes que se
Corner
crezca.
of Julio is not happy at all.
No dejes que se crezca.
Not happy. They did not want that ruling.
But we showed a clash of heads.
Oh, there was no doubt.
So the ruling is, since we're through 4 rounds, they would go to the scorecards. I have a shutout in Martinez's favor right now, 50-45. Could make the case in round 1 for Julio. Both men were down, and Julio did land the better knockdown punch, which could offset the fact that Martinez was much sharper in the round.
Right, I've got it 48-45. It's, you know what, it's a matter of semantics at this point. We're splitting hairs. We both have the same guy winning the fight. So if it comes down to that, I don't think Martinez has anything to worry about. But over the long term, you don't want that skin popping open every time there's some contact with the opponent.
He told us today he felt he had tough hair. Tough skin.
Tough skin. Well, the evidence tells us otherwise.
See the numbers in round 5. Martinez 37 of 80. He landed 24 of 49 power shots. That's just about 50%.
He's cut right in the haircut, right in the middle of La Cobrita.
I saw Julio pawing at his right eye. I wonder if that was just some blood that got in his eye from Martinez.
I see what you mean. There's some redness alongside the right eye of Julio now. I think he's cut. He's blinking his eye as if he's cut. See, now this is the difference between a dangerous cut and a not dangerous cut. You said that before. For the uninitiated, a cut that does not run into the eye is not a dangerous cut.
And you know that left eye, that right eye of Julio.
Closing up.
Yeah, it's taken a ton of punishment. I mean, that left hand has been like radar for Martinez. And the vision in Julio's right eye is limited.
Now, it's an amazing turn of events here because between rounds, it was Julio who couldn't wait to get out there thinking that he had done some real damage to Martinez here. And just like in the Ledesma fight that we had referred to before, Martinez comes out firing when he's cut. And that right eye has just blown up on Ilido Julio.
And that right eye is swollen because of punches.
Absolutely.
Pace slowing down just a little bit here. End of the second.
All right, let's take a look at some of the action that may have actually done that damage. He's a little bit off balance there. His legs are going, getting tired, and cut.
More to come on Fight Night. Scheduled for 10. We begin round 7 as Raul Martinez, 15-0 with 11 knockouts, 24 years of age, fighting from right here in San Antonio, taking on a tough Ilido Julio from Colombia, fighting out of Miami. Julio 35-8-1, 29 knockouts. He's dropped his last 2. His last 4 wins have come against boxers in Colombia that have not won fights in their career. He hasn't beaten a opponent with a winning record since September of 2000. But boy, he must be in pretty tough because it looks like he's got some skills.
You're absolutely right. For a guy who hasn't won an important fight in 6 years, he has certainly brought it to Raul Martinez tonight.
Take a look at the numbers through 6 rounds.
That's a pretty accurate reflection of, I think, what's happening in this fight. Clearly, Martinez in control, throwing more punches, landing more punches, but he's got an opponent who's not going to go away easily. And he's cut.
Both men were down in round number 1. A body shot put Julio down, although he appeared to be more off balance. Martinez went down with a shot right to the chin. Martinez was cut in round 5, accidental clash of heads on the scalp line. The right eye of Julio closing rapidly. Other than that, not much has happened.
Easy for you to say. It's been a bloody, brutal battle so far. Real good fight.
Julio gets out of that southpaw stance pretty quickly.
Yeah, that really hasn't been as effective as he thought it would be in this fight.
The right hand for Martinez.
Clean shots to the head and the body. Julio really showing some determination to win this fight here, because he's not going anywhere.
Julio is one tough character.
He is, but one thing I'm noticing about Martinez, Bob, is that he's allowing his weight to come forward over his feet a little bit. I think it's taking some of the impact off his right hand. He's kind of throwing off the wrong foot, which is something you've seen recently in Giant Stadium.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, that other job you have.
So he's losing a little bit of his leverage?
I think he is, yes. I think he's letting some of his power escape by throwing off the wrong foot.
With that said, he's controlling the fight as we work our way through the 7th. A little low shot there. Now we're going to get a timeout from
right. You good?
Ruben
All right,
Carrillo.
time in. Let's go. Time
Puts
in.
the time back in. Fight night on Versus. Up last year. Look forward to the NHL season here on Versus. Round number 8 underway for Martinez against Julio. And Julio gets staggered to start the 8th.
See, now this is the kind of intensity that Raul Martinez has only shown sporadically throughout the fight. You got to think if he could sustain an attack, you know, for at least a minute of a round, and it was a great right-left, he might finally get Julio out of here.
Both men were down in round 1. See, is he a little too wild though there, Wally?
Well, you know, he's certainly eager to get the job done here, and we saw what happened in the first round when he came out a little bit overeager. He wound up running into a punch and getting knocked down. But I think at this point, Julio's not as dangerous as he was in the beginning of the fight.
Martinez just digging in. Straight right hand.
You know what? Julio's legs are just about gone.
Oh, Wally, got a little dry cleaning you need.
You're not
done.
kidding. Well, it's part of the game. Occupational hazard.
Blood streaming from the nose of Julio. Right eye banged up.
Legs a little wobbly. As the owner of a pair of old legs, I know old legs when I see them. And I think that's what Julio is standing on right now. And yet, you know, Martinez, the much younger man here, only 24 years old, really not pressing his advantage nearly as much as he should be. And I must say, the corner has done a fabulous job with the cut. It has not bled in 2 rounds.
No. Martinez went 10 rounds 2 fights ago in his Adalberto Davila victory.
See, a little too much of depending on one punch at a time, 1-2s, and then just backing off. I would really like to see Martinez press his advantage a little bit here. But as he told us, he likes to counterpunch, and as Julio's aggression has gone down, it really gives him less opportunity to do that.
Julio's been game as Martinez assumed control of this fight. He's taking a lot of shots. Close of round number 8. 2 more to go here on Fight Night.
Early in the round, you'll see Martinez really putting something on Julio here. Had him wobbling, perhaps had him on the verge of a knockdown, I should say. And later in the round, he kind of slowed down a little bit. There was a great left hand, but he started to rely on single punches and just isolated 1-2s, and that's just not getting the job done right now.
And we begin the 9th round. A huge round for Martinez when you talk about power numbers. As he hurt Julio to start the round. Blood pouring out of the nose of Julio.
He has really taken it. You know, you really can't say enough about the effort of Ilido Julio here tonight.
That is enough.
Well, you know, he's got a corner for that. He has been checked out by the doctor, and apparently he's fighting as if he's still willing to keep going with this, still trying to win.
Let's take a look at the numbers in the last round, and how about this just to augment that? Martinez hit on 31 of 62 power shots.
Precisely 50%. Yeah, he's having no trouble hitting his man right now. And now, you know, he's actually using the ring, having a little fun in there. So it's all his own way, but you have to give credit to Julio. He just keeps coming forward. Got to know he's way behind on the scorecards. Big left hook to the body by Martinez again.
That's his bread and butter punch.
That's a great punch, but I would love to see him double it up from the body to the head.
Now, having never really seen Julio fight and going through his statistics, you know, we present the facts to you at the beginning of the fight about his level of opponents.
Right.
But boy, he has really surprised me with the way he's gone about this.
You know, it just reminds you that in boxing, sometimes the story is not told on paper. You know, you can look at a guy's record and say, well, you can't expect much from this guy, and then he'll come out and just give you a tremendous game showing like Julio's given us here tonight.
The face of Ilido Julio is a bloody mess, literally.
You know, it might be time to start looking at this like, you know, you asked when is enough enough? Well, the referee's taking a real close look at Julio, and he may be thinking along the same lines.
You know, his right eye is almost closed. His blood is just pouring out of his nose.
And you got to start considering, does this man have the punch or the capability to end this fight with one shot? I don't think so at this point.
And Martinez just wants to tee off now.
Yeah, I think I'm with you now, Bob. I think enough is enough.
I think Ruben Carrion would be well within his right to stop this fight at any point in which he sees fit.
He does seem to be looking very closely at Julio.
We'll roll to the end of the 9th.
See, now they get into the philosophy of, well, you know, let's let the guy go the distance. Sometimes you got to wonder whether that's really the wise way to go.
Wow, this isn't all, you know, this isn't a world championship fight.
Yeah, I mean, really.
All right, now he's going to have the doctor take a closer look. Only the referee can stop him, but on the advice of the doctor, he can go.
Oh, boy.
Time is out.
They called time in the ring because the corner of Julio was getting a little upset with the referee there. Thought they were wasting his time to administer to the fighter.
And a nosebleed, that looks all right. So he can still go.
All right, time in, let's go.
The recommendation of the doctors, he could still go. Well, let's take a look at some of the action.
Well, here's again Martinez doing damage. Julio pretty much a sit and duck now, just getting hit with everything cleanly to the body and to the head. Doctor says he can go. I guess he can go. And I'll tell you what, Julio's not the type to stay on that stool if they tell him he can go.
Look at that. Look at that right eye. The right eye of Julio is just shut.
He is one tough guy, but I'll tell you what, if you want to know how Raul Martinez is doing tonight, just take a look at the face of Ilido Julio.
I mean, Julio's right eye is closed. He's bleeding from the nose. You know what? I'm very impressed, too, with Raul Martinez. Even if he doesn't finish this guy, I think this guy turned out to be a lot tougher than people expected.
Oh, yeah. He's showing a lot of poise in there. You know, the one thing is the kind of ebb and flow of the attack. You'd like to see him be a little bit more sustained, but he's a young fighter. He's only a 16th pro fight against a guy who's been in with world champions, briefly held a title of sorts, had the IBO Flyweight title for a couple of months a few years ago. So, yeah, it's a good performance in that respect. But just to go back to what we were talking about in the last round, there's honor in going the distance, but you also have to wonder, you know, how much damage is being done to Ilido Julio here.
The numbers certainly show it to you through 9 rounds. And his percentage, and that's it.
And not a moment too soon, but he's angry. He wants to keep going.
Well, he's a tough guy.
He wanted to go the distance. But there was a point when he was sitting on the second rope there where the referee actually could have called a knockdown.
And I'll tell you what, Raul Martinez did a heck of a job because he got knocked down in round 1. They both got knocked down, but it was Martinez who might have been more hurt than either two.
Yeah, well, again, to repeat what I said just a couple of seconds ago, he showed tremendous poise for a young fighter, showed that he can throw good, hard, straight, crisp punches. Just like to see him sustain his attack a little bit more. He might have ended this fight a little bit quicker.
And Ilido Julio, wow, very good performance by him. He had some moments early in the fight, absorbed a lot of punishment, never took a step back though. He hung right in there. But Raul Martinez trying to bring the boxing tradition back to San Antonio. Good fight tonight on Versus. In San Antonio, it's fight night on Versus, as Raul Martinez stops Ilido Julio in the 10th round. Just a bevy of punches. Referee Ruben Carrion was taking a close look, and at this point, Julio could not take any more punishment, and the referee steps in and stops it in round number 10. Excellent performance. Both men were on the deck in round number 1. Julio wasn't happy about the stoppage, but at this point, he didn't have a chance to win. Martinez just peppering him in the late stages of this fight. Good stoppage. Time for the official time of the stoppage. Once again, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Ruben Carrion calls a halt to the bout in round number 10. The official time, 1 minute, 1 second. The winner by TKO victory, still undefeated from San Antonio, Texas, La Cobrita, Raul Martinez.
Martinez gets the victory. He landed 48% of his total punches in the fight. 323 landed. Big number, the power shots. He landed 50% of his power shots. 181 of 347. Did a good job with the jab. 142 of 320. 48% in total. Julio at just 30% for the fight. Hernandez busier and obviously much more accurate. Well, the 24-year-old is now 16-0 and trying to bring boxing pride back to San Antonio. He did it tonight Martinez is with Wally Matthews in the ring.
All righty, I am with Raul Martinez. Just came through a brutal and bloody fight with Ilido Julio. Now, I know you didn't know too much about this opponent coming in. Did you have any reason to expect it would be this difficult to fight?
Yeah, I just saw former IBO champion, a lot of fights, man, 29 knockouts. Colombia, this is my third Colombian, so might be calling me the Colombian killer pretty soon. But definitely, he came for a hard fight. And I knew, man, it's going to be a tough fight. He fought Nonito down there, went 8-round distance. I was going to stop him 2 more shots. He would have been down, and I would have really, really hurted him.
Well, you know what? Just watching the fight, it was painful to watch you hit him as cleanly as you did. You landed over 300 punches. At any point, did you get discouraged when you didn't seem to be able to hurt him in the first couple of rounds?
Not at all, man. I spar every day. I don't hurt everybody, you know what I mean? You get the rounds. You get the rounds. You're not going to knock everybody out, but definitely my hands are starting to hurt, like in the 3rd, 4th round. Both my hands right now, they're just bursting out of the glove right now from so much hits. But definitely, I expected a tough fight, and I'm definitely looking forward on going on for my next fight and hopefully becoming a world champion one day.
Well, you certainly showed a lot of poise tonight in this fight against a really experienced opponent, but I must ask you about the first round. You knocked him down with a body punch. He got up. You attacked very aggressively. You ran into a shot and went down. Had you ever been knocked down before?
I've never been knocked down. Actually, it was like I got a little too wild. My inexperience. Still, I ran right into a solid jab. He's a real hard, 29 knockouts, man. Tough fighter, hard hitter. And he got me in the first round. It was pretty funny, but definitely I overcame that, and I knew it was gonna be a tough fight.
Well, you shook that off in a hurry. You also shook off another cut. Now, we discussed this earlier today. You've been having a problem cutting. You got cut in the hairline. You know, not really a dangerous place to get cut, but does it worry you that you're getting this bad habit?
Everybody gets cut, man. The great champions have gotten cut and have to go 12 rounds hard. And that's for me, man. That's me. So definitely I know this ain't my last cut, and you're going to have to knock me out. You're going to have to kill me in the ring to beat me, man. So if you cut me, my whole face up, and don't worry, I'm coming back after you. You know what I mean? It's not the end.
You heard it. Raul Martinez, a blood and guts guy, a winner here tonight over Ilido Julio. Back to Bob at ringside.